If you're looking to learn how to pitch brands and land photography clients, this video is for you. Inside of this, I'm going to share everything I've learned in 10 years of kind of trying and failing and learning along the way when it comes to landing, pitching, and closing photography clients, whether you're going for product photography or other kinds of shoots that really involve putting together a pitch deck and actually approaching the brand with your vision. So inside of this video, we're going to hit it, give you all the tips, all the tricks, and all of the hard lessons I've learned along the way. You ready? Let's get into it. All right, guys, my name is Ryan. Thank you so much for checking out this video, how to pitch brands. Literally everything after 10 years of photography and marketing that I've learned, everything that I've done wrong, everything that I have figured out how to do a little bit better along the way, how to land product photography clients and brand clients. So without further ado, let's head over into our special presentation, how to pitch brands. So what you're going to learn inside of this, obviously, is everything after the 10 years of photography I've done and all the marketing stuff I've done. Here's what I've learned about how to pitch brands, how to land product photography clients, and how to make that work as a photographer. Even if you don't have a portfolio, you don't have a ton of experience, where do you start? So we're going to answer that question. Now, as a bonus for actually sitting through this video and watching to the end, at the end, I'm going to give you my 7-step pitch deck template. So you can actually take this template and create your own pitch decks and start pitching your own brands today. That's my goal, is that by the end of this, you'll be confident enough that you can start putting together these kind of vision boards and creating these shoots for your clients. So without further ado, let's talk about who I am, just so you know who I am. Obviously, I'm a super average photographer. That's the beauty of this whole thing, is you're not learning from the very most gifted, most prophetic, most amazing photographer out there. You're learning from me. And sadly, I just have to be real. I'm super average. And I learned everything along the journey the hard way, just by screwing it up over and over and over again and trying all sorts of things that didn't work. So after a long time, I managed to get to the place of creating a business, doing about $80,000 a year with photography, working about 3 months a year. So I was doing very little work, getting a decent income. I wasn't making millions, but I was doing pretty well. And I started having these really cool experiences, and I wanted to share what I learned. So I started Signature Edits, and now we've actually helped over 180,000 photographers with their marketing, with their branding, and with their editing. Just all the things I wish someone had told me along the journey. So that's who I am. Now, a little confession to make, okay? I had no idea how to sell when I started. Like, I sucked absolutely miserably, but I still suck sometimes. That doesn't mean like I have it all figured out and I'm giving you all the answers today. The reality is that I still get nervous. I still screw up. I still make mistakes, but I've just started to suck less as I figure all of this stuff out, right? And so what I'm going to do inside of this is share what I have learned, what I've learned you shouldn't do. That's more what I can give you on this journey than necessarily giving you the perfect recipe for success, because the reality is when it comes to actually marketing your services as a photographer or in any area of marketing, there's no secret formula. That's the thing. There's no secret recipe of say these words in the right order, do these things, and you'll get the job. It's more about actually creating results for your client. We're going to get into that and how you can position yourself as an absolute essential to them. Okay. So what I'm hoping to save you from is all the mistakes that I've made along the way in that journey. So this video is going to help you skip all of that hard work, all the lessons, all the years of uncomfortable and really just wasted time and effort on stuff that definitely doesn't work, so that you can go out and start getting shoots today. So without further ado, I've said that like 5 times, but we're actually getting into it now. The 5 mindset shifts that have absolutely changed my life when it comes to pitching clients and closing clients and marketing my services. Okay. Number 1, clients need you more than you need them. Number 2, you can't trick your way to the top. There's no secret formula. Number 3, life repeats the lesson until you finally learn it. Number 4, pitching and closing big brands can actually be done without an audience, and you don't have to have a massive portfolio. And number 5, pitch decks aren't complicated. And I'm going to actually show you exactly how to build one today, and we're going to go through a pitch deck together. Okay. So number 1, let's hit it. Clients need you more than you need them. Now, when you start out in photography, and this still happens to me today, the tendency is to look at the brand as this big, beautiful opportunity, and you are just like, oh man, if only they would throw me a crumb. Like, I would absolutely sell my soul if they would just let me take photos for them. And the problem is you position yourself as being totally dependent on them, whereas in reality, brands are dependent on the creator, and especially on you specifically. And if you can get that mind shift in your head, it's totally going to change the way that you approach sales. It's going to change the way that you actually interact with your clients, because all of a sudden, when you actually view yourself as valuable, when that mindset shift occurs and you see the brand as needing you and you genuinely believe it in your heart that they need you and you can help them, that totally comes through in the way that you talk, in the way you communicate, in the offers that you create for them. And that's going to kind of transfer over into your sales. Okay. There are lots of brands that you can shoot for. Like, there's a million brands for you to do work for. So you need to get it into your head that the truth is that you don't need this one brand. There's a million out there, tons of opportunity, but only one you with your vision, your skills, your mindset, your abilities. So you have to position yourself and do it in a way that makes it exclusive. They can only get this thing through you. And if you can do that and position yourself in your marketing that way, that's going to make you much more valuable to a brand. Cool. So brands need you. You just need to show them why. So I had a friend of mine I was actually chatting with today, and it's really interesting. He runs this really, really cool company called Step Outside. And what he does is he actually works with corporate clients and he helps them kind of get to know each other better. He helps the employees interact better. He helps the managers train so that basically the relationships on the team are much better off. Now, the problem is his service is actually really valuable, but unless you go a little bit deeper, you don't necessarily see it at first glance. So his website describes what he does. He does these day retreats and he'll actually hang out with these people outside and they kind of have some team building and whatever. And that sounds kind of cool, but it doesn't necessarily sound super valuable, right? However, what if you were a business owner for a second and I said to you, okay, here's the facts. Studies have shown that like 35% of the time, your employees actually aren't even engaged with their work on average. Studies have also shown that if employees feel like the manager is not respectful and they don't get along with them, they tend to call in for 400% more sick days and they tend to have 500% higher lawsuits. And third and finally, studies have shown that closing and sales and marketing actually dramatically drops in terms of results when your clients aren't happy and when when your employees aren't happy with their work conditions. And if I actually gave you some stats to back that up, all of a sudden you see, okay, there's a massive problem here if my employees aren't happy and my managers aren't happy. And so if Mark, my friend, actually positioned himself as saying, you know what? We don't just provide these corporate retreats and hang out and stuff. We actually figure out how to take your employees and make them so happy with the work they're doing, so happy with their managers that those relationships improve. And we've seen our businesses improve their ROI and lower their employee costs and decrease their turnover rates by these percentages. And basically, when businesses sign up with us, they make a lot more money and they save a lot more money. All of a sudden, Mark has now positioned his offer as being way more valuable. He's showed them why they need him rather than how he's going to do what he's going to do. And I think as photographers, we make that mistake a lot of times. We say, okay, I'm going to go and take all these cool pictures for you, but you don't necessarily communicate why those pictures are going to be valuable for the business. And if you can do that, you can actually show them the return they're going to get on that investment because it is an investment. Then it's a much more attractive proposal than just, I'm going to go take some photos. And then you hope that they see the value in that. You have to communicate and share and create that value in their mind. Okay. So sales is all about creating that kind of value. So here's the thing. People actually buy destinations. They don't buy the journey. So what I mean by that is when you approach a client with a pitch, you're not going to sell them the airport. You're not going to sell them customs. You're not going to sell them the luggage they have to pack. You're not going to sell them the fact that they have to wake up at 4 a.m. to catch this flight. You're going to sell them Maui. Right? Because when you sell them the airport, the customs, the luggage, all that stuff, and you just talk about how you're going to help them, that's just stressful. They don't need more stress in their life. But if you sell them Maui, the result you're going to bring to their business, the actual tangible return on that money, then that's what they actually want. They want to get to Maui. They don't care how they get there. They don't care what kind of plane they're using as long as it's safe. They don't care about this big long checklist of all the custom stuff. You want to sell them the turtles. You want to sell them the waterfalls. You want to sell them the whales on the beach and just this amazing relaxing time, right? You want to take that, do that for your photography, figure out how you can do that and sell Maui. Don't sell the pre-flight checklist, okay? So number 2, you can't trick your way to the top. There's no secret formula for sales. So here's a little reality check for you, right? Sales is 100% not about persuasion. Most photographers, most people in marketing think that sales is all about convincing their client that they need to book with you. And at first glance, that seems to make a lot of sense. But the truth is that you don't want to convince anybody with sales. You actually want them to just believe that what you're offering them is going to bring the result they're looking for. Sales is about belief, not persuasion. Because when you persuade somebody to book you, when you persuade somebody to come around to giving you money, they're going to feel like they were coerced. They were going to feel like they were tricked. They're not going to be as happy and they're going to ask for refunds. They're just like the worst kind of clients you can have. They were persuaded. They felt like they were forced or tricked into it. Whereas if they actually came to the side of belief, truly believing that you could provide that result they're looking for, provide Maui, bring them to the turtles and the beach and the ocean and the whales, they believe that, then they're going to want to give you money. Big difference between being persuaded to give you money and wanting to give you money, okay? So you can't trick a brand or a client into hiring you. At the end of the day, your work and your results are absolutely everything. So if they believe you'll get them the result, they'll give you money. That's just how it works. The result you offer is more valuable than what you're asking to be paid. And once they see that and they believe that, then they'll buy every time. So that's the secret, if there is a secret, but there's no secret formula for like, say these words in this order, do the pitch deck with these exact slides, follow this exact process, this exact Facebook marketing ad strategy. It's not like that. There are principles to how to actually get around that, but there is no specific step-by-step way to trick people into sales, because if you're doing that, you're not making sales, you're conning people. So sales is all about belief. And if they believe that you'll get them that result and the result you offer is more valuable than what you're asking to be paid, then they will buy. So belief comes from results. So you need case studies, you need testimonials, you need experience, you need your portfolio. You can't actually skip these steps. And most photographers, myself included, try to skip these steps in the beginning. They don't want a second shoot. They don't want to shoot for free. They want to get paid right away out of the gate. They want to do all these things, and they have this big list of requirements, so they never shoot. They never build a portfolio. They never get testimonials because they've got this big list of demands without actually providing value up front. The thing you have to realize is that if you don't have those results and people don't believe you, they're never going to hire you. And you're just holding yourself back by being stingy on what you're willing to give up front. At the beginning, when you're starting out in your career, it's all about actually creating trust and removing the possibility that somebody is going to get screwed, basically. So you got to think about it from their perspective. I'm taking a risk when I give you money, when I hire you to produce these photos. What happens if you don't deliver? And I have no reason to believe you can deliver because you don't have any work. So you need to go out and do some free shoots if that's necessary. You need to second shoot if you need some experience. And third, you need to think of a way of reversing the risk. So when you actually offer and pitch to these clients, you can say, hey, I'm going to charge you this much. I'm going to give you these photos. I'm going to turn it around in this amount of time. Here's some people you can talk to who will vet for me, who will speak up for me. And if you're not happy with the photos, I'm going to give you your money back. Like, can you imagine if you actually added that statement? You were that bold with what you offered to these companies, how much more likely they'd be to give you money or give you product if you said, listen, if you're not happy with these, I will literally pay to return the product to you and I'll refund all your money. Now, that's not going to happen because you're going to do a great job. So why not reverse that risk in the start? Because if people believe that there's nothing to risk and that there's everything to gain, then you're going to start making more sales. Okay? That's the secret. If there is a secret, sales isn't about convincing people. When you convince someone, they'll always feel like they were ripped off or pressured or tricked. So you want to create belief. Now, there's no secret way to actually do this in the pitch like we talked about, but the three things you want to think about is the problem, the possibility, and the path. These are the things you want to actually magnify in their mind. So first off, they have to believe that there's a problem with whatever it is they're doing right now. If they feel like they have all the media and all the content they need, and they don't need your content, why would they hire you? So first, you have to create that need in their mind. So with my friend Mark, we're thinking about, okay, what statistics show that you could actually create more results for this client than what they have right now? Okay, their employees aren't engaged. Now, if this applies to our photography, you could look up some stats surrounding photography. Like, okay, what happens if we actually have more product reviews? What happens if we have more testimonials? What happens if we have more lifestyle photos? What happens if we post to Instagram 3 times a day instead of 1 time a day? And you look up these facts and these studies, then you can actually say, hey, look, there's a gap here. If you posted 3 more times to Instagram every day, we've seen through facts and studies that sales go up by 30%. So you're missing out on 30% simply because you don't have enough content to actually shoot out to your campaigns. I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to create that content so you have an entire year's worth of content for your campaign. It's going to be this much, right? So you're solving a problem after you've established that there is a problem. So you want to magnify the problem. Second is the possibility. They have to believe that you could actually create a solution, that your solution is going to solve that specific problem. So in the case of our Instagram example, you need more content. I'm an expert in creating product photography for makeup brands. And I go and I'll actually not just work with 1 model or 2 models, which you just have to have all of this repetitive content. The way I do it, I have a group of friends. We have 10 different people who go out and get photos of your product. And then that way you have a ton of variety for the rest of the year. So there's the possibility. Now, the path is how can you actually do it for them specifically? So you've shown how you can do it for other brands, but will it work for them? How are you going to do it for them? And that's your offer, right? So we're actually going to come together. I've got 10 models lined up for your brand who actually all use your product already. And I'm going to get them together on a Tuesday. We're going to do all of their photos all at once. And I'm going to go to all of their houses. So we have 10 different locations. Here's some photos of the locations so that you can see it lines up with your brand. And finally, I'm going to do it for this much money. I'm going to turn around in this much time. And if you don't like it, then I'm actually going to just refund you all your money. And I'll even send you a check for the products you send. So if you do it that way, you've reversed the risk. You've shown the path. Now I believe as a customer that you can do what you're offering and it's going to work for me. Problem, possibility, path. That's what you kind of are working on in your pitch. All right, number 3, this kind of goes into that as well. You can't skip steps. People want to skip the step. They want to get to the final result. You want to be shooting beautiful models on the beaches in Bali, but you've never actually done a photo shoot in your life for a model, period, or someone on the beach, period. You have nothing to show people, and yet you expect them to pay you out of the gate. You just can't skip the steps. So I want to tell you a story. Back in the day, I was a skier back when I lived in Canada, and I was skiing every single winter. And one day, I actually took my cousins skiing up on the mountain. And so we went up on this mountain. We took this chairlift to the very top, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. And I had been skiing all my life, and I was like, hey guys, skiing's super easy. We don't actually have to worry about like any of this bunny hill stuff or the T-bar. I'm going to show you. You're going to learn as you go, and we're just going to take this black diamond run over here, one of these really, really nice steep ones. And so they, trusting me, foolishly, went on this black hill run with me, and we were skiing down. We got about 2 seconds in, and they started to panic because it was so steep. They didn't know how to stop. They didn't know how to steer. They're flying out of control and crashing, and it was just a mess. It took about 2 hours to get down that run that normally would have taken 10 minutes, and after that, they never came skiing with me again. That's what happens when you skip a step, when you decide to do something before you're ready, when you try and bypass that foundation that you're building on as a photographer, building that portfolio, the testimonials, doing the work, getting the experience. You can't skip the step, because if you do, you're going to mess up, or you're never going to get to the opportunity you want. Like, that's the irony of the whole situation that I've learned, is that the lesson in life will repeat until you actually learn it. Okay, you can't bypass this stuff. Eventually it's going to come back and bite you, or you're just never going to get where you want to go. You're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels. It's because there's a step, there's a lesson that life is trying to teach you in your photography, in your business, in your relationships, whatever it is. You're not learning it, so that lesson just keeps repeating. And if you find yourself running into the same issues with clients every time, or the same issue with your sales every time, or the same issue with your marketing every time, and you just can't figure it out, it's because you haven't learned a lesson. And so you're stuck at this spot. It's going to keep repeating. Oh man, number 4, if you're finding value in this content so far, can you do me a big favor? Can you hit the like button, and also just let me know what has resonated with you? What's the step that you need to take today? Because that's what this is all about, is actually taking action and learning from this, not just watching a whole bunch of stuff for the sake of me making a cool video. It's pretty cool, I admit, but it's not that cool. So pitching and closing big brands. You can do it without an audience. You can do it without a massive portfolio, but you can't skip steps. So let's head back over into a beautiful example here. Probably, if you live on the planet Earth, you've seen this photo in the past. This is a photo taken right after World War II finished, and a sailor grabbed a girl on the street. They're celebrating. He gives her a big kiss, random stranger, and this photo, I think, was on the New York Times. It's been published all over the world for years and years and years, and it's really iconic of this amazing moment right after World War II where the world was celebrating. Now, what's cool about this moment, it was taken by an amazing photographer, no doubt, but do you really care who took it? Do you really care what gear they shot on? Do you really care what brands they've shot for? If someone went to a newspaper after World War II with this photo and they weren't a super popular photographer, would it matter if that newspaper knew they were amazing or not? Probably not so much. I mean, maybe it would back then. I don't know. The reality is, though, now as a photographer, your work and the content you create and the vision you cast is so much more important. That's what really matters to the brand. They care about Maui. They don't care about what brand of plane you are using to get them there. So your street cred, who you've worked for in the past, who you've shot for, what kind of experience you have, your portfolio. Yeah, that's going to get you into the door. It's going to build trust with the brand, but it's in no way absolutely necessary to actually closing those deals. Okay, so you can close big brands, but you can't skip the steps. So you're going to have to create a sample portfolio. If there's a big brand, you want to shoot for Nike, let's say, you're going to have to start off by actually doing some shoots that align with Nike's vision, with their ethos, with their type of work. And once you've got that portfolio, you go out, you shoot it for free, you grab some Nike products from the store, you spend $100, and you actually go out and shoot it. Then you have something to talk about. You can say, hey, this is the kind of stuff I'm thinking of doing for you, and then you have to create a vision and a pitch deck. How are you going to bring value to them? Like, what problem do they have that you can solve? And if it's content, what creative avenue are you taking that's going to be something that not everybody else is already offering to do for them? Okay. Next, if you can, get an intro or use your contacts. So if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, that is 1000% of the time going to be more effective than just trying to cold call all of these companies. You can do it. You can outreach them and just send them an email or send them a DM, particularly if they're not massively massive like Nike. You can do it and it can happen. However, if you can get an intro, that's always going to be faster. Think who, not how. Not how am I going to do this, but who do I know who can help me do this? And you'll be surprised once you start actually asking people how many connections there are to the brands that you actually want to get in touch with. Okay. And once you do that, then you can start landing these big brands. Okay. Fifth, and finally, the time of the day you've been waiting for. Pitch decks aren't actually that complicated. So now that we've talked about what goes into a pitch deck, just the concepts behind the fact that it's your work that actually sets you up. You can't trick your way to the top. Life repeats the lessons until you learn them. You can't skip steps, and pitching and closing big brands without an audience is totally possible, but you can't skip the steps. Once you figure that stuff out, we can take that, apply it to a pitch deck. So I'm going to show you a pitch deck right now, and we're going to get into it. So let's head over here. Now, this is a pitch deck that I created for a company called Perfectly Snug. Now, they actually have these really, really cool mattress toppers. It's a mattress that actually has holes in it, and there's a fan connected to the mattress. So if you're a hot sleeper or it's the middle of the summer and the AC just isn't cold enough, these things, you turn on the fan, and it takes cold air in from underneath the bed or around the room, and it cycles it underneath your covers. So most of the time, the issue you get so hot is because the air underneath the cover, it gets too humid, it gets too hot. This brings fresh air underneath those covers, keeps you cool, and there's a thermostat, so it keeps it at the same temperature all night long. And in the winter, it even heats the bed, so you can keep your toes nice and cozy. That's a really cool product, right? However, they're just starting out. They don't have a ton of media. They don't have a ton of video reviews or testimonials. So I reached out to them and said, hey guys, what do you think about getting some more media, doing a review, and doing a content shoot? Now, this isn't the exact pitch that I sent them, but it's a pitch deck template that then you can take that I think will be more applicable for you, because obviously you don't have signature edits and a big, large YouTube brand, so this is slightly tweaked for that. So the first thing you want to do, obviously, big, beautiful title page. You want it to be nice, you want it to be impressive, you want it to look like you're a professional. Next up, we're going to head over into the contents of the pitch deck. So obviously we've got an intro, which is going to talk about me, the skills I bring, the skills you bring, and who you are and why you want to work with them. You're going to present the problem that they are having that they may or may not be aware of. You're going to magnify that pain, right? Next, we're going to talk about the solution. We're going to show them the path. We're going to show them the possibility that is there. And then we're going to talk about the shoot concept, which is the actual path itself. We're going to talk about the ROI and traction, why they should do it with you and what they're actually going to get out of it, removing that risk and showing them the reward. And then we're going to talk about target audience and finally funding, where we present our offer and our pricing. Okay? So let's take a look here. Number one, you want to have a section on who you are, why you want to work with them. So in this case, I've made this pitch deck for a girl named Olivia. She's 24 years old. She's a photographer, content creator who's passionate about health and wellness, and she loves what Perfectly Snug is all about. Now, here's the thing you got to realize. Brands want beautiful content, but they also prefer to work with people who actually understand their brand, who understand their ethos, who are like them. They're people too, right? The marketing director who looks at this, or whoever does, is just a person. They're a normal, awesome human being who wants to connect with other normal, awesome human beings who actually get what they're about and align well with their brand. Because if you align well, they have a better sense of just shared values and the fact that you're going to be trustworthy. Okay? So that's why we're talking about the fact that she's actually passionate about health and wellness. Don't reach out to brands you don't believe in. Don't try and get work with brands whose products you don't actually love, because you're not going to enjoy it as much. It's not going to be as credible, and it's just going to burn you because the relationship isn't going to be authentic and honestly integral, right? Full of integrity. So sleep is the cornerstone of good health. So we're doing a little bit of flattery here. We're reaching out to them, talking about how we align with their brand. Next, my specialty is in taking candid and truly authentic photos for healthcare brands. So you've established the fact that you actually have an expertise, and this is what you narrow in on. Like, this is my niche. Whatever country you're from and however you say that word, that's what it is. This is what you focus on. And I want to work with brands who are actually trying to make a difference and help people live more healthy lives. And so I think Perfectly Snug would be really great to work with and would really benefit from some dreamy and heartfelt content. So you want to be simple, to the point, tell them why you align with their brand, why you'd like to work with them, and how right away you think you can actually help them. I'm going to provide some dreamy, heartfelt content, and I actually do this as a specialty. I work with healthcare brands. Okay? So this pitch deck shows you how, and a nice picture of yourself. If you don't have great pictures of yourself, you need one. You really, really do, because people buy a person, they don't buy a product when it comes to photography. They're buying into you, and they have to believe in you. All right. Step 2. The problem. So here we're going to talk about what problem this particular brand has. So as a new company, the problem I think they have is that Perfectly Snug lacks high quality video reviews and lifestyle images. Now this is done by just researching the company a little bit. So in the case of Perfectly Snug, I came across them because I was sleeping and waking up hot all night and it was driving me nuts. So I found this solution. I was like, hey, these guys are pretty new. They don't really have much media on their website. I wonder if they could use some. That's literally all it was. So you could look and see what they're lacking. So maybe you're trying to shoot for, I don't know, let's go with Nike's too big. We'll target somebody smaller, but let's say it's a brand like Nike. And you look and you see that they've got lots of basketball photos and they've got lots of tennis photos, but they don't really have any photos of people who are actually playing, I don't know, what's that other thing that's like tennis but not tennis? The little one. Whatever, ping pong, I don't know. So you choose an avenue that maybe they don't have a lot of content around. You find a gap. You find an area that you could improve and provide some content in, okay? Or you just pitch for the next season that's coming up. I've got this concept. I know winter's coming for you, Nike, and so coming for you. Winter is coming. And so I'm actually heading up into the Swiss Alps, and we're going with some friends. We want to just take some cool lifestyle photos of our friends playing basketball on this court in the middle of the mountains. It's going to be pretty cool. Are you interested, right? So we're going to identify the opportunity and the problem and just magnify that problem. So as a new company, Perfectly Snug lacks high-quality video reviews and lifestyle images. Their scrambling for content makes it hard to grow on social media. Lack of great imagery and videos makes online ads less effective. That's true. No video reviews means competition reviews win more business. And that's like a real pain point, right? Your competitors are winning because you don't have video reviews right now. So hopefully I've got their attention. I've magnified the pain. And then I kind of add some authority to it, and I magnify it even more with a couple of stats. So 93% of customers want outside assurance before committing to a purchase. And 91% of online shoppers trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. Now, the problem obviously is that they don't have these reviews. They don't have these personal testimonials. They don't have video stuff happening right now, and so we're going to actually solve that problem for you. Lifestyle shoot and video review of the Perfectly Snug topper. And this is exactly what I pitched them with. Getting some photos, doing a video review, and then publishing it to my channel. So, eye-catching, authentic photos of your product in action. Number 2, we're going to create a high-quality video highlighting all features. And number 3, we're going to do a video review, sharing it online and emailing to my audience. And for this case, we went with Olivia, has 5,500 subscribers or followers or whatever. You don't have to do this. If you don't have a followership, you can still do this without a massive audience. That's okay. You could even say, I'm just going to post it to YouTube, where it can have the chance to have tens of thousands of views on a really organic channel that isn't an obvious ad. That would be another way of pitching it, right? You turn your weakness into a strength by saying, I don't have a massive channel, which means that it doesn't look like I'm just this big promoted person. It's a real, authentic review. Okay? Then we hit our shoot concept, where we give them some details. So we've talked about the problem. We've talked about the solution. Now we're going to show them how we do it. So here's the concept. We're going to do a lifestyle shoot. We're going to give you 30 plus images and unlimited media licensing. Number two, we're going to do a video review. So we're going to do a 4-week vlog review of the Perfectly Snug topper, where we track the sleep before and after, and then we share the results. And number three, we're going to do online sharing after the review's finished. We're going to publish it and upload it to the channel and share it with all of my subscribers. Now, this is exactly the kind of process that I pitched to them, and they went for it. Now, after the review's finished, it will be sent to you for approval. That was my way of just reversing the risk, making sure they're not scared, like, okay, but what if you don't like it? What will happen then? I'm still going to send you the photos, and I'm going to make sure that you actually approve the review before I post it. I'm obviously going to be integrity filled. I'm not going to say anything I don't believe, but I'm going to give them the chance to address any issues or help me solve problems along the way so that I can forward that information onto the customer as I share that review. So that's the components. And then I've created a mood board. So as a photographer, obviously, you're probably going to want to give them something visual to see what you've got in mind. And you'll get this template where you can just drag and drop these images in. So we've got bright, fresh, fun, organic, and authentic tones, and earth tones and tranquil blues. So I just went through, I said, okay, based on the fact that they're a sleep brand, they're really about comfort, they're about falling asleep, obviously, comfort and safety, and just really nice, relaxing tones. That's what we're going for. So I want to show them that I understand their brand, I understand the vibes they're going for, and this is the kind of strategy behind the shoot. So you can do better with these images. I just sort of put them together for the sake of this video, but I hope you get the point. Okay, and then we talk about ROI and traction. So we've talked about the problem, we've talked about the solution. Now let's actually talk about the results and paint this picture of where you could get if you choose to go for this shoot. So the results: photo and video content to reach a wider audience. These are the results I'm selling. Wider audience, increase sales, and improve ROI for your online ads. So I'm going to hit these with 3 bullets. So I'm going to give you 50 plus high quality images. In the other slide it was 30, so my bad. Gives an abundance of content for social variations on ad campaigns. Now this is really important if you're a brand, because you're always needing more photos to test on your different ads, whether it's for Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And having it just on your social, you're always running out of content, right? Number 2, online reviews expand your target reach and will be immediately shown to 5,000 plus subscribers. So I'm selling the benefit, the fact that online reviews actually increase your reach and increase your conversions. I'm not selling the photos anymore, right? I'm selling the benefit of the photos. And then 3, the video content increases your conversions and improves ad cost efficiency. Now you could come up with 3 completely different results. These are just examples specific to this campaign and based on their specific problem. Finally, I follow up with another stat. So 6.5x. On average, influencer marketing, which is hiring me, produces $6.50 for every $1 spent. So I want to show them you're actually getting an ROI on this campaign. It's not just paying money for a bunch of photos. You're paying money to make money, because as a business, they're very interested in that fact. Okay, and 80% of studies find that including a video on your landing page can increase conversions by more than 80%. Now, this is a massive statistic that makes having a video testimonial very, very appealing to a brand. So again, I'm finding stats that are going to support and show them the value of what I'm bringing. If they don't understand how valuable it is, there's not going to be any reason to pay me for it, or they're going to want it for way cheaper than it is. Once I tell them, hey, this might actually increase your conversions by 80%, you know how valuable that video now becomes compared to what it was before? Before, they might have thought, oh, I could pay someone a couple $100 to do that. Now they're going to think, oh, I can make a couple $1,000 from doing that. Very big difference, right? They're looking at it previously as a cost of a couple $100. Now they're looking at it as a return of several $1,000s. All right. And 3, unlimited licensing means you can use all the photos and video created however you like without expiry. So your investment continues to pay for itself forever. Now, this is very strategic the way I'm saying this. It's not just, yeah, so you got unlimited licensing so you don't have to pay me any more money. I've painted it in their mind. I'm not saying you're going to make a ton of money off of this. I hope you will. But I am saying that your investment will continue to pay for itself forever because it's not expiring. So again, figure out a way to cast the benefit and magnify the value of what you're doing for them by making the result much more clear in their mind. Finally, we're going to talk about our target audience to show them that I understand who this campaign is actually for. So for Perfectly Snug, I talked with them and they said their target audience is actually married women whose ages are around 35 to 65 who have trouble sleeping at night. They're waking up too hot. They have menopause or whatever it is. Now, models featured in the lifestyle content will align with this target demographic. This is really important. You have to show them that you actually get them and that the shoot you're planning is going to line up with their brand. Because if it doesn't, they're not going to be interested. The video review, now here's the other thing. Olivia in this example is 23 years old, so she doesn't fall in this category. So think of a way to take your disadvantage, turn it into an advantage. So in this review, I'm going to do it myself and broadcast to my audience, which is, in this case, an example audience of 25 to 35-year-old women, giving exposure to Perfectly Snug for an additional demographic. So I'm actually painting that disadvantage as an advantage. So the target audience is going to be built around these people, but I'm also going to give you exposure to these people, right? Instead of saying, yeah, but I don't fit your demographic, which doesn't really help my cause. Who will, in years to come, be joining that target audience? Cool. And finally, funding. Now, I'm saying funding instead of pricing. You could say pricing, but I like funding better because it's kind of like, okay, so what do I have to do to actually make this come alive so I can get that ROI and that attractive future? How can I get Maui? How much is it going to cost me? So deliverables, I'm leading with this, what they're going to get. Again, I'm recapping the offer. I'm recapping the value. I'm making that value clear in their mind so they can see this is what they get for this money. It's not just money. It's a result they're paying for. So lifestyle shoot with 2 target audience models, 50 edited lifestyle images, 3-week product trial and video vlog, 15-second video highlight, unlimited licensing and review, upload, and share to my YouTube channel and email list for whatever. I put a random price in this. So I'll handle all the logistics, model fees, and additional costs perfectly snug. We'll only need to supply the product. So I made it very clear what the ask is, what they're going to get, and the fact that I'm going to handle absolutely everything is just an additional bonus that I've put underneath here. I'm going to take care of the logistics. I'm going to take care of the model fees. I'm going to take care of all the additional costs. Now, you figure this out ahead of time and build that into your price, but it just takes the headache off the brand because trust me, when it comes to actually working with these shoots, I've had some conversations with creative directors who are like, yeah, it's a headache. Going back and forth with influencers is a nightmare sometimes. And so the fact that I'm showing that I understand their problem, and that I'm going to take care of these logistics and I've got a plan, that's going to be a huge bonus in creating trust and belief that I can pull this off. Right? So this price could be $9.97. Maybe it could be $99.97. I don't know. It depends how big that problem is for this brand. So finally, availability. This is the last component of a pitch deck, which you don't necessarily have to do, but you always want to create some kind of scarcity, some kind of urgency, some kind of reason to buy now. So in this case, I currently have 2 spaces open for my calendar in March 2022. So I'm saying, okay, you want this result. I have availability this month, but I only have 2 slots available. Now, availability is determined on first come, first serve basis. And if you're ready to book, please get in touch as soon as you are able to secure your spot. So I'm saying, listen, I'm the prize here, not you guys. I'm not coming to you and saying, yeah, I'll drop everything and I'll do it and I have nothing better to do. I'm saying I'm in demand. I have these slots open. Let me know if you're interested because people are going to take them, whether it's you or not. I hope it's you. Get in touch as soon as possible. That is going to make a massive difference in the positioning of my work as being valuable, as my time being valuable, as me considering myself to be valuable. So you want to create some kind of an opportunity there that they need to act now if they want to secure it. Whether that's your availability, whether that's a discounted rate, whether that's a special bonus that you have that's only going for a certain amount of time. So you could say my availability is such and such. However, in the next 2 weeks, I'm actually going to Paris where I'm going to have access to this really beautiful mansion and the light is going to be amazing. Here's a photo. So this location is only available if you are actually up to do this shoot next week or on Friday, March the 14th, or whatever it is. So you create a bonus that is tied to booking for this specific date and not putting the decision off because the brand might be like, hey, yeah, maybe in the future, but we don't really need you right now. You want to give them a reason and a bonus and an incentive tag now. And that's basically the whole thing. Go through, have that pitch deck, send a thank you and some contact details so they can move forward with the proposal, and then you can follow up a couple days later. That's all there is to a pitch deck. Now, another thing that you can do that is really, really cool, just as an extra resource for you, is you can actually head over to Loom or Canva. This was created in Canva, and the beauty is they actually have a present window you can hit. Go over here to present and record, and it will let you record your camera while you go through this presentation and kind of give them the rundown, kind of like I just did for you. So you can talk about some more additional stats and elaborate on this pitch that you're giving to them. And that can be a kind of cool way and a bonus that most people don't receive. The brand isn't used to getting a video from the actual prospective photographer. So that allows you to portray your personality a little bit better, communicate your value, and just separate yourself a little bit more. So that's really all there is to doing a pitch deck. Let's head back over here into our beautiful presentation, if I can somehow find it. Pitch decks aren't hard. Here's how to build one. So to recap, let's head all the way back here. Somewhere back in here. 5 mindset shifts that have changed my life that I hope you can take out of this presentation. Number 1, your clients need you more than you need them. And if you can position yourself and show them how, that's going to make a massive difference in your sales. Number 2, you can't trick your way to the top. It's not about tricking clients to make sales. It's about creating belief and showing them the value in what you do. Number 3, the lessons in life are going to repeat until you finally learn them. You can't skip steps. You have to go through it. Number 4, pitching and closing big brands can be done without an audience and without needing a massive portfolio. You can do it. You just have to take those simple steps. And finally, 5, pitch decks aren't complicated. I've shown you how to build one. And now, as a thank you for listening to this entire video, you can access my pitch deck template. I'm going to have the link below right here in this video. So head over to that link and you can grab that template for free. Now I want to give you one last little bonus. Number 2, I'm going to give you 50% off our adventure photography workshop with Mr. Daniel Hahn. So if that's something you're interested in, actually working with brands and learning more about these kind of conversations, how to pitch, how to actually build relationship, how to capture these kind of photos, edit these kind of photos, Dan is absolutely amazing at this stuff. I sat down for a really cool interview with him, and then he went through and actually showed how to edit some of his amazing images and talked about what gear he's using and how he captures it and how he works with brands. He's far better at this than I am, and so I'll let you have that. If you want and you're interested, use that code ADVENTURE For a limited time, you can get 50% off and learn how to create photos like these and just take that adventure photography journey, take that next step and learn how to do it. All right. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, do me a massive favor. What was the most revelatory part of this entire video? What are you taking out of it? What is the one thing that you really needed your eyes open to that now you're going to take into your business and apply moving forward? Okay. I want to hear it. Hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you want more content like this, and let me know if you have other topics you'd like to talk about in future videos. In the meantime, create something awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.